Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. I'm Rylan, and this is Pyramid Head, Creature Explored. If the Silent Hill franchise is the prince of the horror genre, then Pyramid Head is its crown. This faceless, elusive terror is a breathtaking personification of evil and darkness, and this eternal force has been used multiple times throughout the Silent Hill series. Silent Hill thrives on the ambiance that it manages to create. The dark, eerie atmosphere, coupled with the fear of the unknown, is bound to send shivers down your spine, and this element of fear has drawn fans to its iconic franchise over the years. One of the highlights about Pyramid Head is that ever since its conception, it has caused the players the worst of negative emotions. The unstoppable brutality of Pyramid Head was shocking, and everything from its design to his mannerisms perfected the disturbing qualities around him. So, who was Pyramid Head? And what was his role in the series? Why is there so much talk surrounding this character? And what is his true origin? Well, we'll be answering all of your queries about this monstrosity here in today's video. Take a walk down memory lane as we refresh the nightmares caused by this faceless executioner, who has been an integral part of the Silent Hill mythology. Now, before we get into today's explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's begin. Origin behind Pyramid Head, explored. The first time we saw this humanoid monster was in Silent Hill 2. The narrative of the game followed James Sunderland as he arrived in Silent Hill after getting a letter from his dead wife. The letter said that his wife was waiting for him in their special place, which was the town of Silent Hill. After arriving in the quaint and mysterious town of Silent Hill, great horrors begin to unfold. One of the most terrifying things about the game was the character of Pyramid Head. The art director, Masahiro Ito, is credited for coming up with this unique chasing creature because it was the demand of the narrative. In Silent Hill, as you may know, the monsters are often manifestations of the subconscious of the protagonist. Thus, it is clear that Pyramid Head also had a symbolic meaning. The character designer, Takayoshi Sato, described him as the distorted memory of the executioners. According to him, Silent Hill was once a town of executions, and Pyramid Head is designed to look like a demented executioner. He had a butcher's attire, and his overall appearance is similar to that of an executioner from the town's past. More importantly, Pyramid Head is the manifestation of James Sunderland's guilt and desire for punishment. So what was the idea behind putting a pyramid head-shaped helmet on this character? Well, when Masahiro Ito was coming up with the concept, he experimented with various sketches for the character. However, every morbid design that he was coming up with seemed to be somewhat human in nature, but he wanted Pyramid Head to feel like a nightmarish representation of James's guilt, and it had to appear less human to be more disturbing. Thus, he finally went ahead with the idea where a pyramid-shaped helmet covered any facial features. And why did it work so well? Well, maybe it's because we have a natural fear of the unknown. We tend to be terrified of things that we cannot clearly understand, and Pyramid Head is simply that, the unexplained monster that hunts you down. There were some unexpected inspirations for the designs of Pyramid Head. Ito was a tank enthusiast, and the edges of Pyramid Head's helmet have an uncanny similarity with the lower hull of a German Tiger tank from World War II era. If you get a chance to scan through some of Ito's sketches for Pyramid Head, you will be left bewildered. Initially, it was supposed to have bolts attached to the head, and there were several others that were just as good as the final result. When the design was finalized, it took about 2 weeks to get things rolling. Many of the developers were skeptical about this uncanny design, but eventually it ended up being the showstopper. Let us take you through a brief history of the character throughout the series. The land of Silent Hill had some mysterious powers that could manifest the elements of the unconscious mind. Later, a cult developed and utilized these powers of the town. They performed ritualistic executions and worshipped Valtiel, the Angel of Rebirth. The attire of Pyramid Head resembled that of Valtiel in many ways. When Mary was suffering from agonizing pain due to her incurable ailment, she became verbally abusive. She was in excruciating pain, and James made things easier for her by smothering her with a pillow. However, this also made him regret his actions, and he lived with the guilt and trauma of what he had done. When he received the letter from her 3 years after her death, he immediately headed for Silent Hill to find her. But the town of Silent Hill has its own way of greeting newcomers, experienced the worst manifestations of his subconscious. He first encountered Pyramid Head when he was on the lookout for Mary in the Woodside Apartments. Surprisingly, this monster was very similar to one of the paintings that he had seen with his wife at the Historical Society of the town many years ago. He continued to evade Pyramid Head as he kept reappearing, tormenting James psychologically. In the final stages of the narrative, when he watches a videotape of him killing his wife, the guilty conscience is back, and 2 Pyramid Heads appear instead of the usual 1. James realizes that he has a strong desire for punishment, and combined with his guilt, brings about these monsters. Eventually, the 2 Pyramid Heads kill themselves, because their purpose had been fulfilled. Masahiro Ito did not like the idea of his character being reused time and time again after the events of Silent Hill 2. However, the developers wanted to cash in on the popularity of the character, and he was brought back several times until he became an iconic monster of the franchise. Even Silent Hill Homecoming and other spin-offs saw him in cameo appearances. The symbolism of Pyramid Head. There are several opinions regarding the symbolism of Pyramid Head, and it is entirely up to your interpretation of the character. We have already mentioned how the monstrosity is merely conjured up by James's personality and feelings. After killing his wife, the traumatic memory always haunted him. If you observe the design of Pyramid Head closely, you will see the obvious references to his guilt. For example, the pointy edges of the pyramid point to the subtle pain of James. After his crime, James harbors a subconscious desire for being punished. This makes Pyramid Head come off as an executioner, and not some kind of maniac killer. Executioners kill only the guilty as punishment, and his appearance was a manifestation of this desire of James. Another thing that is evident in Pyramid Head is the sexual repression. James went through such a stage when his wife was undergoing treatment. There have been enough hints in Silent Hill 2 that suggest that he visited strip clubs during this time, or probably even cheated on his wife. When we came across Pyramid Head for the first time, he is seen sexually assaulting 2 monsters called mannequins, and their 2 female halves fused together. This symbolizes how James used to objectify women in his repressed state. There is a popular theory among fans that justify the form that Pyramid Head takes. There are even debates among fans regarding his purpose. Some believe that his end goal is to help James, while others think that Pyramid Head is only supposed to torment the guilty fellow. Silent Hill borrows heavily from psychoanalytic theory, and there might be a reasonable explanation for Pyramid Head in this regard. According to Sigmund Freud, the human psyche can be broadly divided into 3 parts: id, ego, and superego. The good side in our character is the superego, while our worst thoughts are the id, which is the devilish side of us. The ego is the balance between the 2 that we maintain. Now, id is so disturbing that much of it is repressed in the subconscious. If they could actually come out and manifest themselves, well, it would be truly horrifying, and the negative traits would end up governing us. Pyramid Head is a component of James's id. He was repressed for a long time, but now that he's shown himself, well, it's quite a terrifying journey ahead for him. In Silent Hill Homecoming, Pyramid Head goes by the simple name of Boogeyman, but even that has an echo of an executioner in it. The Boogeyman is part of folklore, used to scare children with stories, where the Boogeyman gets those who misbehave. Even here, Pyramid Head is an agent of punishment, and comes with guilt of the children who did something wrong. The rich symbolism of this otherworldly monster makes it all the more intriguing for the fans. Pyramid Head, the games versus the movies. The film adaptations of video games are pretty terrible more often than not, but the Silent Hill movies were quite a pleasant surprise. In the 2 movies so far, the ambiance had been captured brilliantly, and fans had only one thing to complain about: the changes we see in Pyramid Head from the games to the movies. It has been a conscious effort on the part of the directors to put together the form of Pyramid Head very differently from what we saw in the games. In the games, we saw him as a manifestation of guilt and rage, but in the movies, he is a twisted father figure. It is an embodiment of the vengeance of a character named Alyssa, and it also protects her at the same time. It's no surprise that the movies have deviated quite a bit from their source material, and the inclusion of Pyramid Head is as abrupt as it is unexpected. However, the studios were not going to miss an opportunity to make use of such a popular character. We have already spoken about the appearance of Pyramid Head in the games. His role in the movies is quite different, however, and he comes across as an independent character, not relating to the games at all. Pyramid Head is the twisted father figure of Alyssa, and he is both the attacker and the protector as well. In the two movies, the monster echoes the feelings of two disturbed protagonists, Alyssa and Heather, and their troubled relationship with her fathers. He is as intimidating in the movies as he is in the games, but we find the gaming versions to be far more damaging. Quite honestly, there is nothing compared to the unexpected sighting of Pyramid Head, while you are already unnerved playing one of the most haunting games of our time. The real reason behind Pyramid Head's backwards knife. The backwards knife is a curious choice of weapon, especially because it's just one half of a scissor. It allows Pyramid Head to slay his victims with ease, but he is also slowed down due to the burden of this weapon. In a way, it symbolizes the burden that James has to carry, his agonizing guilt. Like we said, it is a side of a pair of scissors, and it is supposed to be the other half of James's knife. This is a crucial insight to the world of Pyramid Head because it points to the fact that the monster is actually the other half of James, the manifestation of his disturbed side. It is believed that the makers wanted the two halves to be united at some point, but that didn't take place. It's the great knife to fight Pyramid Head, and it shows that he still does not have the grasp over his guilt. It symbolizes that he continues to fight himself, and this clever metaphor is illustrated by the backwards knife of Pyramid Head. Overall, it mainly points to the fact that Pyramid Head is not merely the manifestation of the worst thoughts of James. He is actually a part of James, albeit one that he does not fully accept or understand. We just wish that they did more to focus on the story arc regarding Pyramid's Head weapon being another part of James's knife. Our final words. Pyramid Head is easily one of the most recognizable villains in the franchise, and has a major role in 2 games in the series. From games to the movies, it has been a journey well traversed, and Pyramid Head is as good a manifestation of evil and darkness as you could expect it to be. His otherworldly presence and unexplained appearance made him stand out among the other monstrosities in Silent Hill, and when he randomly appeared in the gameplay, the players had to deal with all the jitters. It is not often that we get to say amazing things about an antagonistic monster, but Pyramid Head definitely steals the show, with the symbolisms, metaphorical existence, and implications. The unknown factor makes him so darn scary, and we sincerely hope that we get to witness more of this remarkable monster in the future. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to send a like, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. For marvelous videos, I'm Rylan. Have a good one, be safe, and thanks for watching.